Great. Thank you. Hi. Psychic Frank's Mystery School. Hey. Namaste. Um, okay, fade away. Fade overlay. There. Okay, Psychic Frank's Mystery School. And that's me, Psychic Frank. And if you want to get in touch with me, Psychic Frank 1111 at gmail.com. Yes, I've had a month. It's good to give my brain a break. We should all give our brain a break. So, hey, right off the bat, let's go right to the numerology, okay? Because, well, by the way, Happy New Year, Happy Lunar New Year, for the Chinese people. I'm not that up on. I've had one years ago. I had a kick-ass reading by this amazing Chinese dude. I'll never forget. Yeah, I was living with the asthmatic heiress then. It's a long story, but it was a real fork in the road for me. As a matter of fact, I called him around a week later, and he said, "My wife won't let me do readings anymore." So it was. If you really have it's an experience. It's an experience. Okay, so 20. I don't have a chart here. 2025, in numerology, we reduce things to one digit, except for 11, 22, 33, 44. Those are only given to old souls, master numbers. So what we're doing now is things going in a 9-year cycle. So the universal year for everybody is 9, completion. And around October of this year, we'll get a strong inkling of what the next 9-year cycle is going to be. And let me just I put a bookmark in here, and it probably fell out. So bear with me, because it's really worth seeing. I think it's at the end of the book, but 1 minute. I think when I popped it into my little traveling bag, the elements to planet. Wait. It's not right on the top. The universal numbers. 1 second. Let me just. It's towards the back. Okay. Oh God! I didn't want to do this, but I can't start this show without. Okay, universal year 9. Okay, got it. Okay, breathe, Frank. Let's ring these bells again. It just feels so good to be back. I miss this place. Even though I've only been here a couple of times, this will be my 3rd show from here. Okay, so a 9. Well, I'm going to read about the 9 universal year. This is a very rare book. I found this around 45 years ago. And it's out of print, and people have actually I borrowed this, and I've had to track them down to get it back. So this is an amazing book. And then when you read this, you'll if it's not self-explanatory, I'll of course add things to it. So what we have now is the universal year 9 is the end of a 9-year cycle and the beginning of a new one. It's a time for fulfillment and completion. All limitations and self-imposed restrictions must be thrown off. No loose ends must be carried over until the next year. This year demands a broad view with no restrictions. Selfishness and personal greed must be discarded. This year belongs to the universe. It is a humanitarian year which calls for universal love and sponsors generosity and understanding. All must be impersonal and operate on a universal plane. Nations and groups must put aside petty concerns and work towards harmony and understanding. It's a fine year for the arts. Well, I broke out laughing when I read that. I said, OMG, the Trump administration is doing the exact opposite of everything we should be doing this year. So if you, of course, as I said, the next 9-year cycle will be a 1 year. And what it says that Each year that reduces to one marks the beginning of a new era, a new 9-year cycle of events on a worldwide and universal level. The universe calls for strong leadership that is both courageous and decisive. This is a rhythm for pioneering new ideas, for charting new courses in the theaters of human understanding, politics, business, and the arts. It is a time for creative activity, for progressive planning, for decisive action. It's a time to exercise the initiative to join the constructive march forward. The influence of what is begun this year will be felt for the next 8 years, because things go in a 9-year cycle. So to get to here, starting at 2026, and in 2026, both Saturn and Neptune will leave Pisces and enter Aries. With Neptune, that happens every 70-something years, and with Saturn, every 30 years. So to get to that groovy 1 year, but this year is going to be, as I said, it'll be easy to see, what. I got to put this back just to clear the energy after that. Oh yeah, so another thing that's going on happens in our everyday life is Mars has how you chop wood, carry water. Before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. Life goes on, but at least you're conscious. You're digging it. You're having fun. Okay, so every 2 years, so Mars in everybody's chart. Everybody's got a Mars. The United States Mars is 21 Gemini in the 7th house. So we could do a whole reading about that, but Mars entered Leo and for a 6-month stay with a 2-3 month intermission there when it goes into Cancer. And also I want to remind myself that we got to talk today about the nodal axis. The north node and south node have changed just a week ago. The north node now went from 0 Aries to 29 Pisces. So, and then of course it goes counterclockwise. And so for the next 18 and some years or so, it's go down to 0. So think back to what was going on in your life 18 years ago. Because it's the North Node and South Node is all about your soul's evolution and what where you're going there. And I was thinking about that. For me, it's all about. I'm a soul man. It's all about the soul evolution. My job is to be honest, be true to my soul. And keep it alive. Not let it get beaten to death. What I'm always saying now, I walk around the city and I see, this, like Les Mis? Yeah, that, it's the suffering that's going on. And I go, Christ, give me strength so I don't lose heart along the way. And then, I believe human beings are to channel angels, because the angels' hands are tied. They need humans to tell them what to do. So always bless people. You say, I can't do anything. Yes, you can. You could smile. You could close your eyes. You could say, angels be with them. Be as good to them as you've been to me. This is Earth School, man. Those are old souls. You think new souls will be given that? No way. No, the universe is too compassionate there. Okay, so it was the end of November. Mars entered Leo, and then just the other day, it went on the 3rd into 29 Cancer, and it's going to stay there. It goes direct on February 24th, and then goes back, starts on March 17 Cancer, and then on the 19th of April goes into Leo again, and then resumes what was going on back in January 1st there. And energizing those projects. Because Mars is go, 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 go. And now it's retrograde saying, wait. So the frustration is palatable. So it's all about, whoa, Nelly, slow down. Give you the horse analogy. Give him a lump of sugar. Slow down. Whoa, Nellyville. Okay, so what we got here is Well, Mars, and then Mars will on the 18th of June leave 29 Leo and go into Virgo. Well, Mars is in Cancer. Cancer is all about our early lives, and I believe a lot of us have psychic wounds that go back to our early life. I mean, not all of us have these fantasy Shirley Temple upbringings. They're the biggest minority, and like I'm seeing this guy. What's his name? He's running for head of the military. I wrote his name down so I wouldn't forget about it. Pete, German name. Hegel. I wrote it down somewhere. I have all these notes here. I gotta get better organized. That's what I'm gonna do. I am better organized. I'm gonna say birth is not the beginning, death is not the end. That's a good one. Ponder that. Put that in your pipe. So Mars is retrograde. Moderate your approach. And then, as I said, as I said on, like I say, there was two oppositions of Mars and Pluto to. Mars in Leo to Pluto in Aquarius, because Aquarius and Leo are opposites. So what's going on now is we had the second. Now the third is in April. On December 8th was the first. Venus. Okay, so Venus is in Pisces now. Okay, so what's going on now is our Mars is how you chop wood, carry water, and because of its opposition to Pluto now, Pluto is all about the planet of death, transformation, and rebirth. We're way beyond transformation. Many of us are transmuting. I'm back to my high school weight. I'm in perfect health. I'm 70-something. 76. Yeah, I can't wait. This is my 77 Sunset Strip. Yeah, I've made it. I shouldn't push it. Yeah, look, I'm optimistic. I don't think it's a jinx to, this is by November this year, Prince Charles and I, my astral twin. Okay, so this thing now is like use this Mars energy and ask your angels for help. As I said, before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. Life goes on. Oh yeah, so getting to some politics. We're going to talk a little bit about politics. The numerology. By the way. If you want to hear that again, go to my YouTube channel, Psychic Frank's Mystery School, 'S, and you can hear them again. It's in the beginning of this tape, I guess, and So as I said, when did the war on poverty become the war on the poor? And I was listening to Stephanie Miller had Senator Sheldon Whitehouse. And wow, just yesterday morning, I totally blew a fuse listening to this guy. First of all, very few senators will come on a show like Stephanie Miller's. It's all political left truth. And you don't get the truth, you don't get the truth. And I was thinking just before I started watching that show, because it's on 6 o'clock in the morning, and I said, Garland, man, if Garland 2 years ago had not dropped the ball and pressed to Trump would have been in prison by now, and it's all Garland's fault. And then I listened to this senator, and he was talking about the flying monkeys. These are these patriots, people that call themselves these right-wing Nazi patriots, like this guy Hegelberger there, whatever his name, the guy with all the tattoos. He was really part of the American Taliban. He's a Christian. He said the other day on news, he was being interviewed. He said, "I swear on Jesus Christ, my Savior Almighty." Oh my God! How could you dare? See, there's this Nazi Jesus, and there's the hippie healer Jesus, who wasn't white, didn't speak English, hung around with hookers. Who knows? I think he was bisexual. He's not heavy. He's my brother. And then, as I said, I hope, God's will be done. because I know what's going to happen. It's going to all right. It'll be a lot of misery. I'm not condoning it when I said it's going to be all right, but our souls are all evolving. Everybody came into. There's no victims. Victims don't heal. Our souls, we got to start telling people that this is happening for us, not to us. And why Harris lost the election, God bless her, and I voted for her. I voted for Shirley Chisholm back in '72, but that's another story. And I'm not talking. I got my finger on Sheldon Whitehouse because I want to tell you what he said. Yeah, sure. Biden. I love Joe. I used to sit on the Metro liner when my boyfriend was an intern at Johns Hopkins, and I take the Metro liner. So I don't know. I guess I might have met Joe on the bar car years ago. But anyway, he very, he said a lot of times, but in a really last breath that trickled down you had almost what did he say? He said trickle down, economics is wrong and this and that. And the same with Kamala Harris, you got to hear the truth there. You got to definitely, realize we're in the boat I'm in now because of one man, the biggest con, the mother of all cons. Makes paved the way for this con now. Don the con was Ronald Reagan, a GE light bulb salesman who made all these World War II movies. And then what happened was, after the Kennedys were shot, Martin Luther King Jr. was shot, Malcolm X, and all this, and the middle class started getting power. See, when the people fear the government, it's tyranny. But when the government fears the people, it's democracy and liberty. So what happened was they were freaking out. It was up into never been that high, in the high 60s%. And the the writers there, and Reagan, well, I heard his voice on tape, saying that they don't even wear shoes, referring to presidents of foreign African countries. So, I'm not calling people names. You got to call them what they are, If it looks like a racist, talks like a racist, it's a racist. But anyway, so they got Ronald Reagan because he and Billy Graham, but Billy Graham at the end realized Nixon was what he was and died in shame for that. But this thing about... Ronald Reagan, because a lot of these guys who fought, and God bless them, they were teenagers. They were teenagers when they were, dragged off to fight the Germans on the World War, and all over, and Pearl Harbor. I mean, it was, and God bless them for that. But there was no rehab for these people when they came back. And they were all give me a medal or a chest to pin it on. They were all so full of themselves. Ronald Reagan was their hero in all the movies. So I remember when he ran, fighting with family and stuff, because they were all these Reagan Democrats. And, me and all my hippie friends and knew what that was all BS and stuff. So, it was all Ronald Reagan, And so if Kamala Harris had said, we're going to tear down everything, because I'm nonviolent. We're going to talk more about Martin Luther's wish of being nonviolent in this book called Healing Resistance by Kazu Haga, Haga. Haga. We'll do that before I have to leave. I got plenty of time. So, non-violently start removing, why do you have to go out of your way to listen to all these political shows like Stephanie Miller's to realize, it was Ronald Reagan who made it, his job was to get the G.I. Joes there and get them to hop on his wagon, which was all about giving corporations the right to buy back their own stocks. I mean, the list, he just, everything trickled down in love. that the misery. And I remember telling people, and they'd say to me, Frank, it's an experiment. You know, we'll see what it's like. Well, how many? That was like 30 something years ago. The experiment, the results of that experiment is, and we got to get rid of Citizens United, man. We got to do everything we can. Obama didn't want it, and told us what it was all about. And I wrote it down, his little, but McConnell wouldn't let him. Of course, he was, both houses had gone Republican. Obama said Citizens United gives the special interest and the lobbyists even more power in Washington, while undermining the influence of average Americans who make small contributions to support their preferred candidate. Yeah, Citizens United, man. This is all, but it all goes back to Ronald Reagan, and his name is on a lot of airports, and he's right. You know, he's still honored. Ronald Reagan came to us in a crisis. There was no crisis. He was the crisis, man. He was the crisis, you know, and everybody knows that. Kamala's no jerk. She knows that. But see, Bernie Sanders knows that. That's why Kamala didn't want Bernie Sanders on the road with her. She accepted his support, of course. But so, you know, in a way, Kamala, learn from this, honey, you know. I'm glad I got that out. Because nobody's talking about that. We need a movement now. We need to non-violently start telling people this is all Reaganomics, man. And Obama, you know, he said it like it was his last breath. You almost had to, what did he say? Thank God I have closed caption on, and I know what he said. I several times he talked about it, and trickle down, and then he always said it, and it was, and trickle down economics. You could barely hear it. You know, so, okay, I'm beating a dead horse there. I hate that metaphor. But, you know, that's what's going on now. Without getting rid of, so as I said, the next couple of, there's going to be a lot of misery. There's going to be a lot of pain. So work with our angels, get involved. And everything that I talked about in a 9-year are all the things we should be doing. And maybe if there's some time at the end of this video, I'll grab the book and read some more. But just as I say, the ghettoization. This is a book by the Psychosis of White Men, and it's by a British guy. And the book's out of print. And I asked the guy at the library, can I buy this from you guys? And he said, no. I said, yeah, that's a stupid question. I was going to keep this, and then when you asked me for it, I was going to pay you for it, but I couldn't say that. It was the truth, but, you know. I don't want people, well, now the whole world knows how my mind works. Okay, but I really want this book. Okay, the ghetto was an icon for black dysfunction. Remember the war, the group war? But you know that it's true that for me and for you, the world is a ghetto. The ghetto as an icon for black dysfunction has become increasingly important. Southern wolf-style radical prejudice has been outlawed and to some extent banished from the mainstream sensibilities. In our shiny new post-racial world, you can't call someone an N-word, but you can be wary of someone because of their postcode, your zip code. As I said, he's a British black guy who wrote this. Culture is now used as an accepted code word for racism in the culture of the ghetto. It is one to be feared and avoided. This is one of the reasons why investment in maintaining the ghetto accelerated in the post-civil rights era. When someone tells you that life is better for African Americans, you need only 2 words in rebuttal: mass incarceration. Since the 1980s, the prison population of the U.S. has ballooned to historically unprecedented phew, that's a tongue twister. Unprecedented proportions to, and incarcerated rates for African Americans are now higher than they were back for black people in apartheid South Africa. The so-called war on drugs has sent countless people, mainly black and brown, given lengthy prison sentences for nonviolent drug offenses. The iconic ghetto was at the root of this the fear of Hillary Clinton's young black super predators who needed to be brought to heel. Yeah, thanks, Hillary. In 1986, a gifted young baseball player named Len Bias reputedly, well, it goes on, and then, but as I said, Ronald Reagan, was responsible for, oh yeah, it's on this page, as I said, by heavily penalizing, oh yeah, crack cocaine did not have a devastating impact on black communities. Yeah, crack cocaine did not have a devastating impact on black communities. Crack and the militarization of the gangs who distributed it caused increased rates of murder in poor black communities that have been sustained to this day. But the idea that crack is, now it's fentanyl, but the idea that crack is a black drug is a deluded fantasy. Black people are far more likely to be arrested for drug offenses than whites, but are no more likely to use or distribute narcotics, including crack or fentanyl, I guess. This must wonder how crack became to plague poor black communities in the first place. That the hip hop group Dead Prez explains, we don't own no boats and planes. We just copy it from Poppy, bag it, and the cellophane. Remember that? Oh, I guess that's the lyrics from the song. We don't own no boats and planes. We just copy it from the Poppy, bag it in the cellophane. The cellophane and the plane rhyme. Remember that crack comes from cocaine. The same importers bring it into the country by heavily penalizing those distributing it and selling the crack version. Emphasis on placing on criminalization low-level street criminals. But it gets worse. The tale of how crack epidemic exploded in the 1980s is so twisted that it sounds more like a conspiracy theory than the truth. In 1982, Congress cut off financial support for counter-revolutionary Nicaraguans. This is why Jimmy Carter lost his election, the second term. It's because of this. In 1982, in Central American nation, with a population of just over 3 million at a time, had a Marxist government. Nixon's regime. Oh, this goes back to Nixon. Well, anyway, I'll read more of this later because I want to do the card readings, but Ronald Reagan, have mercy on his, the last few months of his life, they would put him in an empty swimming pool and he would rake the leaves. So, he checked out. But as I said, no one dies, birth is not the beginning and death is not the end. So as I say, when people go say, poor Kamala Harris lost the election. Now, Kamala, wasn't going to allow, I don't know why, because I guess if you spend that many years developing your education, you're going to, be establishment. She's establishment all the way, and I am anti-establishment. If you didn't put that together, it's in my chart. I was born that way. Okay, Alan Watts. I've got to read a couple of paragraphs out of this. This is an out-of-print book. It's called "Cloud Hidden, Whereabouts Unknown." Let's move this over here. Well, I'm overlay there. Okay, and let's see. I know I put a bookmark in here. Yeah. Ta-da! So we won't have to flounder for that. Yeah, so if you want, okay, Psychic Frank's Mystery School is the YouTube channel. PsychicFrank11 at gmail.com. Okay, he says, back in the 60s, that began in a widespread realization that ecstasy, not the drug ecstasy, but the feeling of ecstasy that you get from cannabis, a good weed for me, man. That ecstasy is a legitimate human need, the essential for mental and physical health as proper nutrition, vitamins, rest, and recreation. Though the idea had been foreshadowed by Freud and stressed by William Reich, there had never been anything particularly aesthetic about psychoanalysis or their patients. They seemed, on the whole, emotionally catheterized by dreary nature. Ecstasy in the form of mystical experience had also been the objective of a growing minority that since the beginning of the century had been fascinated with yoga, Tibetan Buddhism, Zen, Vedanta, and other forms of Oriental meditation, and these people were always rather serious and demure. But in the 60s, everything blew up. Something almost like a mutation broke out among people from 15 to 25. That was me. To utter consternation of the adult world. From San Francisco to Kathmandu, there suddenly appeared multitudes of hippies with hair, beads, and costumes that disquietly reminded their elders that of Jesus Christ, the prophets, and the apostles, who were, at that time, it was a hippie Jesus, who were all at a safe. Alan Watts also said that the worst thing that could have happened was when they made the masses into, switched them from Latin to English. That was think about that. Ponder that. I'm still pondering that, and I've been pondering that for the good 20, 30 years. And I keep on going, wow, that had a lot to do with what the mess the world's in now. I mean, when people, would be reminded, the evangelicals would be reminded that Jesus was a black, long-haired, foreigner. Who was all about nonviolence and alternative feelings. He says, who were all at a safe historical distance. At the peak of our technological affluence, these young people renounced the cherished values of the Western civilization and values of property and status. Richness of experience, they maintained, was far more important than things and money, in pursuit of which their parents were miserably and dutifully trapped in squirrel cages. Scandalously, hippies did not adopt an aesthetic, cerebral ways of tradition by holy men. They took drugs, held sexual orgies, and substituted free-loving communities for the hollowed family circle. Those who hoped that all of this was just an adolescent quest for kicks that would soon fade away were increasingly alarmed, for it appeared to be in lively earnest. The hippies moved on from marijuana to LSD to Hindu chants and yoga, hardly aware that the mysticism in the form of realizing that one's true self is the Godhead. We're all our own God in our own universe. With assistance from the psychiatric, it goes on and on. So we'll talk more about that. And then it says, looking back, he says, the flower children knew what their parents hardly dared contemplate, colon there. The flower children knew what their parents hardly dared contemplate, that they had no future. At any moment, they might suffer instant cremation by an H-bomb or the slower and grislier doom of chemical and biological warfare. This history of man's behavior warned them that armaments which exist are mostly invariably used in many and even go off by themselves. By the end of 1970, their protest against the war, the power structure of the West, which was their standpoint, Russia, combined with black power movement, had so infiltrated the military and police labor union mafia complex known as the establishment that the United States was close to civil war. And then it goes on. Well, anyway, we only have so much time here now. Try to find it. It's called Alan Watts, Cloud Hidden, Whereabouts Unknown. He's on video, on YouTube videos. Okay, so we got that. Let me pick a few cards for you all. Oh, yeah, and then Martin Luther King's Jr. is... Dr. King's is the 20th, and the very next day, Uranus goes direct. So all you Taurus people, goes direct around 24 degrees, 21, 24 degrees, I can't remember. But all you Scorpio people, too, are going to feel it, because the opposite, when something happens to Taurus, Scorpio people are going to feel it. Yeah, this book about the healing resistance, where he talks, it's all about nonviolence and the role of anger. This principle also does not, because with Mars once again, a lot of people are angry, like this guy, Pete Hegelberger there that wants to run all these millions of military, wants to be the head of the strongest military, most powerful military on the planet, and this guy wants to be the head of that, and he's got a bug up his ass. I mean, and he could, all you people, you meet people, right off the bat they got a bug up their ass, and and I tell them, roll up your sleeve and get it out yourself. Nobody could do that for you. It's like, how many psychiatrists does it take to change a light bulb? Only one, but the light bulb's really, 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 really got to want to change. So. Right now, we got to change. We've got to change. NASA is out of control. Well, we'll get back to that. But right now, because Mars is where it is now, and it's no longer in Leo, but it will be back in Leo in 2 months. Well, it's in Cancer now. Start forgiving. No matter what I had a botched adoption, and I don't even want to think about it, but I realized. For years, I've been saying it over and over again, what Louise Hay taught me. They were doing the best they could with what they had to work with. In my case, Charlie didn't have anything to work with, the poor thing. God forgive him wherever he is. Have mercy on him. Yeah. The principle, the role of anger does not say that there is not a role for anger. The idea that nonviolence is about teaching people not to be angry is another common misconception. Dr. King was one of the most pissed off people of his time. He was angry about racism, poverty, war, and materialism. There is plenty in this world that we need to be angry about. Yet anger can be dangerous too. Also, it's like a fire. It can manifest as a forest fire, dangerous and out of control, burning down everything in its path, but it can also manifest in the form of charcoal, harnessed, sustained, focused, and it can be used strategically to cook food or to keep you warm. Similarly, anger is in the form of rage, can be dangerous and out of control, burning down everything in its path, but I believe that there is a type of anger that is deeply disciplined, sustained, and in control. Dr. King oftentimes spoke of righteous indignation, quote unquote, righteous indignation. We got a president who suffers from that right now. It's going to be in office on the 20th, on your birthday, Dr. King. It's the type of anger that is sparked when we witness human dignity being threatened, which is happening right now. It's a type of, there's a cult there. It's a cult. We're in the midst of a cult, and it's powerful now. It's got numbers. It's got numbers. It's a type of anger that can be cultivated and channeled in the right direction to protect life against the forces of injustice. Rage toward individuals can be harmful and dangerous. It can hurt both. It goes on and on and on. Namaste. Okay. Oh, I want to read you something about my angels told me that. It's the 14th card of the major arcana. And I'm gonna shuffle the cards and pick more cards, but I just want you all to it's 11, 12, 14, the Temperance card. Temperance teaches us the benefits of moderation. When you pull back on how much energy you are putting out, you can make purposeful decisions about where you spend that energy moving forward. If justice calls for a two-dimensional balance, temperance requires a 3 or even 4-dimensional leveling. This is a full life rebalancing. Do less, access progress. Mind your peace and virtues. Temperance gets its name from the personification of the Christian virtue. Temperance, a model of pious self-restraint, was once the figures popular in the morality plays of the 15th century Southern Europe at the time when the Tower decks to 78 card system we know today. In contemporary life, temperance can be reframed as the virtue of mind management of one's precious time and energy. Focus your expenditure of attention and money on things that you believe in. Limit what you spend on things you don't need. Your inner peace will thank you. Temperance is somewhat exciting to see on your path. You need to pull in your energy, implies that there is something you need or want to use that energy for coming up. Yeah, we're going to need our energy now. Be very frugal with your energy allowance. I learned it's like, you get like $200 every day through your crown chakra just for waking up, energy allowance. And then most people, before they put one foot on the floor in the morning, as soon as they open their eyes, they're going, shit, I should have died in my sleep. I don't want to do this meeting today. I don't want to go to work. I got to put my dog to sleep. Who knows, whatever, So instead of, where did that come from? Oh, I was watching Kelly Ripa today, and then she's got to put her dog down, and it stuck with me. Little Chewy's got to go down. But anyway, but they don't wake up with gratitude. I do. I didn't always. Oh, yeah, when I was a boozer and a drugger, I'd wake up, First of all, I was never awake during the day. And when I woke up, I was sick. Get well, get sick, get well, hang around the inkwell. Look out, kids, something you did. Don't look now. Oh, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to pick some cards for you all. And let's see what we got going. So, yeah, this is a 9 year. So universal year. So get your birthday, just the day and month, reduce it to one digit for the sake of math. If it's an 11, 22, 33, email me and I'll tell you about it. But just for the sake of math, any number, just for the sake of math, leave it at, reduce it to one digit, and then add it to the 9, because 9s cancel themselves out. So that's your year. This is the year. It's like United States of America, the July 4th is 11. We add that to 9, 20. So this is our year of revelations. We planted seeds this year in our 1 year. They're going to germinate this year. That germination is going to take place during the first year of this I can't even say his name, the Mango Mussolini's first year, and then it's going to be 2026 when Saturn and Neptune enter Aries. Jupiter will be out of Gemini. And I believe that's when they're going to see a whole movement, and that's when we're going to start see Reagan's name. Hopefully it'll happen a long time before then, but we got to start. You're never going to hear it on mainstream news, or even nobody's talking about it. You hear it on like political shows. You have to get up 4 or 5 in the morning. Amy Goodman on Democracy Now. They tell the truth. And that's where. But it all comes. I've known it when Reagan was governor. I left California and joined the commune in Hilo, because I never liked the guy. Okay, let me pick some cards for you, brothers and sisters. We're all in this boat together, we're all, and no matter what, some of us aren't going to make it. In another life, they'll get to where we are now, but many of us are really, especially during these 2 months now with Mars energizing Cancer in your chart. And it has a lot to do with, maybe childhood memories. These psychic wounds last. You got to make a real effort. I asked the Carmelite nuns. They're usually they're for hopeless cases, and I learned years ago they're right here in San Francisco, kitty corner to the St. Ignatius and the Haight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Got it. Oh, this guy just wanted to come out. Okay, let's see how we're collectively now feeling. Yeah, we can't do anything. And we got the advice is do nothing. Here's next time I'll ask Juvan to bring the camera closer. But you see, he's everybody's fighting something here, and he's just trying to stay alive. Just don't waste your energy now. Let it use this when Mars goes direct the middle of next month. I think it's the 17th of next month. They have the Valentine's Day, and actually in a few days after the 20th, the next day after the 20th of this month, Uranus goes direct in Taurus. So now, not do anything. Just take care of yourself. Use that Mars energy to eat right. exercise, do your mind right. Keep yourself from focusing on the negatives. Victims don't heal. This is happening for us, not to us. Yeah, let's find this young child in you. Yeah, as I just said, it's all about it. There's a lot of us going around like these, you had rough childhoods, and I like there was this woman, Beverly DeAngelis, that she would come on TV 30 years ago on the stage with a long line of luggage, and she'd be walking on the stage carrying this bag, and then she'd stand in front of it dancing around, and she'd say, "Oh, I don't have any luggage. I can't see this." People bring their baggage and they carry it through their whole life. I know it. I see it all the time. Their parents are dead, and they like being a slave. I guess I always refer to my adopted parents, their name, as my slave name. Okay, what we're fearing now is growing up. Getting old. The youth-oriented advertising agencies. It's another industrial complex. They're against old age. They don't understand it's it's a privilege denied to many. I don't mind it. I love it, man. It's beautiful. I'm loving it. My hormones are leveled out. I'm in my high school weight. Just as I said, allow your heart to we all have a sacred heart. She's not just in church on a statue. We all have within us a sacred heart. Activate it. Of course, Pluto's activating it. Because it's so we all have Leo in our chart somewhere. For the United States of America, all this energy is happening. This Leo energy. Leo is our north node. So over by 2026, when Saturn and Neptune are in Aries, it'll be our 3-year, and Pluto will be definitely on our north node, asking us to use our intelligence now. Let's start, look what they did to Al Gore. They made a mockery of him. He slaughtered him. Well, he would have won if it wasn't Bush's brother, governor of California. Yeah, we've been screwed and tattooed by the GOP, man, and by Democrats dancing around their wounds. Screwed and tattooed. Okay, what we're going on for us now is we're getting a whole new vehicle now, and we all are honoring each other now. We all have special gifts, and they all come together. There's so many alternative healers out there. There's hope. There's hope. Listen to Pam Gregory. Watch my YouTube channels. I'm going to put, when I upload this show onto YouTube, I'll list all these books I've been referring to. So if you want to write down the name of my YouTube channel, and if you want to subscribe, this is what's going on. This is what's going on for us. What we're fearing is afraid to be empowered now. When your parents screwed you up, it was their fault. When you screw up now, it's nobody's fault but your own. And you got to learn to be more mindful. I didn't smoke weed for a good 3 or 4 years when I first got sober, and it was an important time for me. I was still doing stupid things, and I couldn't say, it was because of the pot. And now because of the macro-degenerative thing they found in my eyes, they said if I don't use cannabis, I will go blind. So, it's amazing. I'm not suffering. What we got now is we got to take ourselves to the calmer waters now. Anxiety, they're telling me all this. It's an addiction. When we get angry, we get an enzyme. It gets into our bloodstream and it strips our stomach lining. It makes us ill and ruins our face and it's addictive. We get like these addicted to that bug up our ass. Tell that to your friends the next time she's bitching or he's bitching about something. No, it's gonna by 2026. But as I said, to get to there, be here now and be mindful of where you're spending your money and what you're supporting, and walk away from people. I remember around 20-something years ago, this guy from my past, Merchant Marine, I used to know on Long Island, took me to this restaurant for lunch, and then he started talking about hating gays, and I got up and asked the waiter where the back door was, and left. I just walked out, left him sitting there, the jerk. You could walk away. A lot of times people will bitch about the bad marriage they're in, no kids involved or anything, and they're just like, they just went out of it. And I'll look at them and I go, where's the ball and chain? You can leave. Okay, brothers and sisters, I've been here. No, we still got some more time. Let me pick some more cards. Oh yeah, because I didn't start until. Oh, good. Let me. Oh yeah, I wanted to read this one more time because I started the show with this, and I want to definitely. I started the show with this. I forget the mics here. Okay, I started the show with this numerology thing, and I think it would be proper to. Here we go. The universal year 9, number 9. 2025, reduced to one digit is 9, is the end of a cycle that in the beginning of a new one. It's the end of one cycle and the beginning of a new one. It's a time for, what makes this 9 years so dynamic is because of Pluto in Aquarius. That hasn't happened for a good 550 something years, if not longer. And also there's other things astrologically going on that haven't happened for 12,000 years, give 500 years or so. So, paradigms are changing. Every time Pluto's in Aquarius, French revolutions, the revolutions happen. It could be a non-violent one, but we gotta let things get a little worse. Obviously, the universe knows, trust what they're doing. Okay, so at the end of like I say, at the end of a 9-year cycle, the beginning of a new one, it's a time for fulfillment and completion. All limitations, self-imposed restrictions must be thrown off. I rebuke you, Donald Trump. Oh yeah, and also our mayor, Daniel Laurie, God bless you. Boy, you sat in this very chair, brother. Thank you, congratulations. I'm glad you're our mayor. I love what you did to San Francisco and Hayes Valley. We got a brand new statue. It's art. I love it better than that tacky thing that was there before. Okay, now let's get the phones turned on here, man. Yeah, you're bright. You know that with the media the way it is now, people want to talk to. They want to call in and talk to people like me and other people. They want to get on here and talk. They want. This is it. This is the last SF Commons. When President Obama did his stimulus package, BAVAC got a good chunk of money to buy all this equipment. And yet they let Comcast totally, run all over us, and now we don't even have phone service. So, you're the mayor, man. Mayor, do your mayoring. I love you, and hopefully our paths would cross. Come back on here when the phones are on and take calls from people. Let's start. This is it. This is it. This is F Commons, and it's a shame. It's a shame how we're hanging on by a thread. God bless you. Okay, so it says no loose ends must be carried over to the next year. This demands a broad view with no restrictions. Selfishness, personal greed must be discarded. This year belongs to the universe. It is a humanitarian year, which calls for universal love, sponsors generosity, understanding, and must be impersonal and operate on a universal plane. Nations and groups like Nazis must put aside petty concerns and work toward harmony and understanding. It's a fine year for the arts. Everybody's life is a perfect piece of art. Okay, I love you. I'm cutting this off now. I'll be back in 2 weeks. I'm not here the first and the third Friday of every month. Yeah, and so I won't be back here until the first Friday of February. Okay, thanks for everything. I'm gone. I love you. I love you, and you're beautiful. Tell yourself that. I do. And Gabby loves me. By the way, I said to Gabby as I was leaving today, she gave me a kiss and wished me luck. So, yeah, she's doing well. She's happy not to be stressed out, because when I get excited, she gets excited, and that wasn't good for her. So thanks for all the years of support, watching my show in spite of that loud parrot. Okay, I'm out of here. God bless you. And here we go. Goodbye.